himself getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on, so Mileham in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. He doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani not very far apart at all here, but I just want to see how Alistair Haig deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
I would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the loud pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down in towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed Morton forward up ahead. He's got out of line. It's now Pike going to have a go at Werrell. Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's come back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such trouble. He's left on second and change. All of a sudden Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's allowed to have fun. Yeah, and it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching. And the Burger King machine's off into the grass a little bit there. Is that really bunching up now?
Does he have it?
Medeiros is going to get it.
They haven't got it!
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such up. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it! Big Barry! Good evening and welcome to round one of the JPB GT4 Championship live from Monza in Italy. The Temple of Speed will be providing us with all this amazing action here this evening. Track length 5.793 kilometers, 3.6 miles, 11 turns, and a track record of 121.046 set by Rubens Barrichello in the F2004 F1. Broke ground in 1922 of May, opened in September 22, and has got 4 configurations, 3 that are currently in use today. I am James Parfitt, going to be here guiding you through all the action. We're spoiled this evening as we've got Callum Mileham and Nathan Richards joining me in the booth here tonight. So there will be 3 of us bringing you all the action. We've got 30 cars on track, a mixture of pro and AMs. We've got McLarens, Aston Martins, BMWs, Mercedes and Porsches here rattling around this iconic circuit. So what will be the format? Well, qualifying will be 10 minutes. Heat 1 will be 15 minutes set by qualifying, and then Heat 2 will be 45 minutes with a grid set by Heat 1's finishing position. One other thing to throw into the mix as well, they will have to make a pit stop. They will not have enough fuel to get to the end of the race, but I think you've heard me waffle on enough. Let's say hello to the guys that will be joining me in the booth. Good evening, young Callum. How are you, sir?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad at all. Looking forward to another good night of racing after what we saw last week. So really excited for tonight.
Yeah, it should be an absolutely stellar one here as well. And we've got the likes of Arthur Ferdle is back to battle Mark Fletcher and Jordan Malcolm here as well. But let's bring Nathan into the booth with me. Nathan, good evening. How are you?
Hello, I'm doing perfectly fine. Thank you very much. And it's great to be here for the first time, contacting with the GT4s over Monza. Obviously, I'm used to doing a lot more F1 stuff, so Monza's the track I'm very, very affiliated with. I'll commentate here many times. But the GT4s, it's a first time, so I think this should be a very interesting evening. It
should definitely one be as well, and it's going to be an exciting one. So what have we been looking at in practice so far? Well, we've got times at 1:55.94 set by Mr. Mark Fletcher, of all people, who has set the benchmark at a 1:55.9. Now, Callum, we were talking off screen. I believe we're looking at around that mark, possibly as a quali lap time here this evening.
Yeah, we saw in the last week of the GT4s, we saw that in the practice session, the cars did go slightly quicker in qualifying, but overall pace, you are looking at around the time that Mark Fletcher's posted there. You can see how tight it is, though, from Mark Fletcher all the way down to Dan Babbage, all within sort of 55, 56s, and 7th place just getting into the 57. So it is going to be really close tonight, but that is the quickest time, and I reckon that'll be the pole position time you'll see for tonight's lineup as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it will be. And just to answer that question, Phil, he did sign up in time. So he should. Oh, he did message me actually, Phil, about that. He did say he's not going to be able to make this evening, but he did sign up in time, ready for next week. Obviously, they get one drop week in the process as well, so they are allowed to have a drop week, which they will be obviously for John Higgins Jr. That's what he will be doing, as we've got John Higgins Sr. in the Clios, of course, and that was part of the deal for the Higgins there as well. The Higgins Jr. signs up for the GT4s, Higgins Sr. does the Clios. So there we go. Good evening, good afternoon, gentlemen. Good afternoon, Conway Cordy. Of course, in America, it is afternoon out there. It is evening for us over here. Nathan, first time in the booth, first time on iRacing doing GT4s. What do you think is going to happen here this evening then? Because you know Monza, you know the first corner. We've got the chicane involved as well. How are these big old cars going to handle that?
Well, turn one, I think in any series we all know what is likely to happen, and there'll definitely be a few incidents down into that braking zone. But I think generally the track, it's very fast. Apart from obviously the two chicanes, turns 1 and 2, and then 4 and 5. So I think we get that big mix of people going really fast through the high-speed corners, and then we have the slower corners, so we can see what people choose to do with their cars. Because obviously we've got the 5 different cars here. They all handle differently. Some better on curbs, some as not. So I think we'll be able to see that difference throughout the race of which cars perform better. Because obviously you've got the likes of the Aston Martin, which is very light. So coming out of corners, it can be pretty easy getting on the throttle. Same as the Mercedes. But you have cars such as the McLaren, which is very understeery. So going through corners, you might not be able to carry as much speed as some of the others.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things they are going to have to look out for as well. I remember who was I talking to this week? I was talking to actually John Higgins Jr., who was asking me about cars, and he said, what car do you think would be best for me to buy? And I said, well, try the McLaren. The McLaren's the most favoured all-rounder, and then every other car's got their own little idiosyncrasies apart from that, Callum. And I think that's one of the things that John Higgins has had to look out for as well, is every car is different in the GT4s. There isn't any one set car that would be strong. What I said to him was, obviously with the likes of Mark Fletcher at 6.3k, if he's taking a McLaren, he's obviously clearly knows something about it that we don't.
Yeah, 100%. And looking at the car selection we had last week, obviously these cars were very close together, and we noticed that McLaren, Mercedes and Aston Martin were the top 3 favourite vehicles. You saw the BMW sliding around a bit more, but we touched on it last week as well about how each car has its own characteristics and own personality out there. But to add to that, you've also got the personality and the characteristics of the driver behind the wheel of each vehicle as well. So there's a lot of spins and turns in terms of like the performance of these vehicles and drivers. So there's a lot to take in throughout this season in this championship. So these guys will be hard at work behind the scenes each week to try and nail everything they possibly can to get the best car out there at the each event each week, to get the best finish they possibly can with all the well, what some would say disadvantage. Those in Porsche maybe seeing themselves at a slight disadvantage, knowing the others have stronger performance, but I'm sure they're all trying their very best with the cars that they have on offer.
Yeah, I'm sure they will, and we know I am not surprised that Mr. Fertel is in the Aston Martin. It's his favourite car. It's one that I think he will be incredibly quick at. We will see it continuously from him, and I think Arthur is going to be up there putting a good fight in. He has said that the Aston Martin is very tricky. You've got to be able to control the speed. There's certain points of it that you think there's another gear there when there actually isn't. You've got to be in the higher gear going forward. So there's a lot of things mixed in with this Aston Martin that I think challenges some drivers. I know Tom Westerner drove the Aston Martin and was like, I'm not driving that. And I was like, okay. And he went off and changed into the Mercedes, which is fine. At the end of the day, if that's what he chooses to drive, then that's great from him. But I think at the end of the day, they've all got their own little preference. Me personally, I've got the McLaren that I think works for me, and some people like the Porsche. I've got obviously Rob Williams, who we both know. Callum likes the Porsche, so he will drive the Porsche. It's just, I think a lot of it is preference, and I think that's where these drivers are going to have to look at what suits them driving style, and what is the preference of the car that they're going to be driving along in. You know what I mean? We have got 31 GT4s currently at the moment on track. So Nathan, bringing us down into... Whoa! And then we've got that. Not an ideal race scenario there. 31 cars rushing down into Prima Variante. It can't go wrong, can it?
I think it definitely can, and I think it will for many of them. Probably people near the end, back of the grid. Because at the front, if you can get the first 5 or 10 cars through, you're sorted. But I think people at the back, you've got to brake way earlier than you have at the front. So I'm sure we'll see some incidents there. Mainly people just out-braking themselves, not being quite sure when to brake. And some people, right at the back, might brake a bit earlier, just so they can avoid some of the collisions at turn 1. But I think once we get through that first 1 or 2 laps, the grid it won't exactly spread out heavily, but I think we'll start to have some gaps, so people aren't going to be going 5, 6, down in towards turn one. There'll be more groups of 2 or 3. So yeah, I think it'll be an interesting one on this first lap. So some people might want to go all out. So people at the top, the top 5 might just want to send it to turn 1 as best as they can, just get the car through. Some people at the back will want to take it a bit more cautiously, and people in the middle as well want to take it a bit more cautiously. But you've got to be careful, because if you take it too cautiously, people aren't going to be able to judge that enough, and then you could get yourself into a collision.
Yeah, you definitely can. And we did give him a little bit of a warning. I did put out a public service announcement that went something along the lines of, please be careful here as well. Take it steady into turn 1. It's legendary for a reason. So there we go. Hopefully they've all listened, as we are just about to go into qualifying. 10 minutes of qualifying here as well, guys. So sit back, time to go and get a drink, grab your popcorn, and let's see how this one turns out here at Monza. It is a open qualifying as well, so there are going to be everyone on track together. Now that, Callum, is going to bring challenges in its own right.
Yeah, 100%. The main thing, especially right now, is clean air. Clean air is the main focus, but a lot of these guys are going to want to get out there nice and quickly. Obviously, Mark Fletcher having the advantage of leading the pack out, but ideally you either want to be the man at the very start, or you want to be the man at the very end, so then you get to maximise that clean air to get the best times out of these vehicles ready for the lineup, which awaits us in about 9 minutes' time.
Yeah, Nathan, where would you be? You got an open qualifying. There's going to be everyone on track at the same time. What's your plan of action?
For me, it would be get out as quick as I can, because if I was to leave it till the very last, then you've got 30 cars ahead. There is definitely going to be at least 3 or 4 of them crashing, and that then can put you into a bit of a bad situation, because if you get caught up in that, you could have your qualifying over, because your car, these cars, if you make a slight error, especially when you hit another car, you're not going to be in the best position to continue with qualifying. But if you can get out first, like we've got Mark Fletcher out first now, he's in a great position just to he's got clean air, just take the car through, because everyone will be coming out. There won't be many people really in Mark Fletcher's way. And the issue is when you've got people sitting 3rd or 4th in the train, you're going to start to get yourself caught up, and you've also got to make sure you can leave enough of a gap to the cars ahead, but you've got to be careful, because if you leave too much of a gap, cars behind will just try and pass.
Yeah, I think that's what they've got to be really careful of as well. You can, in a weird way, you don't want to lose your line. You don't want to lose your position in the queue, I suppose, Callum. That's what I'm probably trying to say here. You want to be able to, maximise the potential of the draft in front of you.
Yeah, you do, but you've also, while you've got the thought of, drafting or slipstream, you've also got the worry of having a bit of dirty air around the corner. So there's pros and cons to it, I would say. But I have to admit, if it was me, I'd like to get in some clean air, because I'd like to know what times I am capable of without any benefit of a draft or any problems going through the corners. When cars are backing up, you have to brake slightly earlier, just make sure you don't go into the car ahead of you, depending on the distance between the two. But I would certainly be trying to push for some clean air, because then I can really see where my ability lies with these vehicles. So I think the main thing at the minute is obviously Fletcher is, as you can see, using that to his full potential at the minute, going purple in the first sector.
Yeah, it definitely is. We're on board with Adam Hedgecock, who's in front of him here. Adam doing an absolutely stellar job of pulling him along here, completely using Adam as a draft machine is Mr. Fletcher. I'm not going to lie. He's doing, he's just basically sitting in and doing what he needs to do. Of course, you can recognise them 2 cars by the fact that Mr. Hedgecock is number 13, Mr. Fletcher is 111, and the wheels are also different if you get really confused. Black wheels for Mark Fletcher, white wheels for Adam Hedgecock, and that separates the drivers in that team. Now, obviously, other teams we've got on track, Project 88, as well, and also No Pace Racing, Air Smart Racing 2. There's a lot of teams here that can provide some massive help. Do you think, though, Nate, that the guys will be trying to work together in a team, or are they going to be looking at this as, well, I got out before my teammate, I'm going to kind of solo it?
I think it depends mainly on who will benefit and who won't. I think if you can both make it work, then sure, they're going to work as a team, of course. But if one of them's going to be at a disadvantage, they'll be thinking to themselves, right, just leave any of the team stuff for now, just free for all. If you lose out, that's your problem for coming out behind, or your problem for coming out in front. And we can see there Mark Fletcher taking the first couple of lap times there, 56.5. So that's a decent first lap time, and loads of lap times coming in, because Arthur Thurtle there going to P2 with a 56.7. So already a 2/10 gap between the top two, but I'm sure there'll be many more times coming through in the next 10-15 seconds that can try and shorten that gap down.
Yeah, they definitely will. There'll be more times. We'll do our normal guys. We'll give them a minute to go across the line as it all flickers around with everybody coming over the line here as well. Tom Weston's just gone over. Stefan Mellis is coming to the end as well. Roger Morton will be going over in that Air Smart machine there as well. He's teamed up with Jason Haddington this series, so him and Jason Haddington are together as well. I want to give a big shout out to Mr. Haddington, who unfortunately lost his father this week, so much love to him and the Haddington family from everybody up here in the JPB booth as well. So much love to you, Mr. Haddington, as well, and it's good, nice to see you on track here as well. But much love as always there as well. Other times that are coming through the board, we've got all the way out to Damien Hirst on a 2-minute 8.9 here as well. So Damien Hirst down on a 2-minute lap time currently at the moment. Stuart Rice on the Triple P in the McLaren there as well on a 1:59.4. He's broken the 2-minute mark once more. We got Arthur Thurtle setting purple sectors, but he is using that draft quite nicely there, Callum, to bump up his time.
Yeah, he is, and obviously we saw Fletcher doing it at the beginning, and now it's Thurtle's turn to try and strike. We've got a couple of yellow sectors there, so hopefully that doesn't take too much of an impact on the time, but he's going to be fighting against Fletcher the entirety of this race, I imagine. So it's going to be really tight between those two, and it's basically between which car can get the better draft in this qualifying session. As you can see, that did take a little bit of a hit with the 157, so he's not going to go quicker, but only 2/10 split in those two cars, so things are going to be tight between them tonight.
Yeah, Arnaud Chandonnier is just going over the line in the Mercedes. Of course, he is part of Air Smart Racing. And then you've got Chris Needham, who is also Air Smart Racing. And then you've got Jason Haddington and Roger Morton in Air Smart Racing too. But there we go. A couple of submissions there as well. Mirko Picanto is also on track currently at the moment. He is flying along quite nicely. It's sitting down in the pros, just about to set his first time in that big gruffing Mercedes that we love so much here, with the noise that comes out is absolutely incredible. Let's see what time is he going to be able to do. He's gone across the line on a 1:58.05, so we've currently got a 1 second gap from first down to sixth, and then we start breaking out past the 1 seconds after that, though. I think, Nave, that's the thing. The gap could be so big, and that's why we initially went for classes, because obviously the separation is spread of lap times and stuff like that as well. What are these drivers going to have to look out for? Because in the 45 minutes, they could end up lapping some of them here. So what have they got to be careful of when trying to get past them on the blue flags?
I think with the blue flags, you've got to make sure you've been aware the whole time. So if you're a car that's near the back of the grid, make sure you're always looking around for these blue flags, because the last thing you want to do is get involved into an incident with a driver who's a lap ahead. And you want to make sure you can get out the way, the safest possible position. So obviously, if you're going down to the braking zone, they pop up. Don't move over at the braking zone. Wait till you get into a straight, or wait till you can get somewhere there is just clear way for the other person to pass. And also, make it clear that that person can pass there. Don't sit in the middle of the road to let them pass. Move right over off the racing line, just let them through. Even if that means slowing down a bit, just to let that car through. Because the last thing you want is to be in trouble after the race for holding people up, especially when you've got people fighting at the top. Couple of tenths of a second that they lose with a lapped car could really cost them the race, or cost them a P3. And just looking at the top of the grid at the moment, the top four have got 3 McLarens, so this McLaren seemed to work pretty well so far in this qualifying session. And looking through, I've noticed there's only 3 BMWs, so that could mean that people just don't like that car, or maybe it means that the car itself isn't that good around here.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things they are going to have to look out for as well. We saw that in Bathurst, didn't we, Callum, with the blue flags? Some were all right, and some, I think it really does depend on where they get caught, to be honest, because if they're going to get caught on an entrance into a chicane, for instance, surely the pro has just got to wait until they get through that chicane, right, before they go and take a big old dive up the inside.
Yeah, 100%. The most ideal situation there is you'd like the car that's trying to overtake the lapped car ahead to wait until they're out of the corner and commit to the overtake safely on a preferably straight bit of road and a straight bit of track. But if they decide to go for it, because there is times, and I'm sure there's going to be times tonight where if we do have any cars that end up getting lapped or on the way to getting lapped, we're going to have Fletcher, Thurtle, Malcolm, Hedgecock. They're all going to be battling it out, and they're probably going to be very close throughout this race as well. And many others as well, like Babbage and Barnes, they're close as well. So there's going to be multiple people out there that are going to be really tight and close together. And when it comes to lapping cars, they're not going to want to let off and let the car behind them overtake them and lose their position. So there may be a couple of situations tonight where we see them go for the inside line and go for a bit of a dive. Hopefully we don't, but when it comes to position, who knows, because these are racing drivers.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, you want to tell a racing driver not to get involved? Well, good luck. Here is the grid for round 1 of Monza for the 15 minutes. It is Mark Fletcher on pole position, Arthur Thurtle in second, Jordan Malcolm third, Adam Hedgecock fourth, Mirko Ficanto is in 5th place there alongside Mike Heister, Alan McCain 7th, Dan Babbage is 8th, Chris Barnes 9th, Chris Needham is in 10th place. Behind that, Ryan Dudley and Jack Werrell. Arnold Chagnon, Torno Ornaments, Tom Weston, Pascal Pinto, Martin Sampson, Kevin Delaunay, Ryan Burgess, Danny Weston, Roy Verbeek, Derek Carver, Rob Williams and Stefan Mellis round out your 24. Stuart Rice, Jamie Dengel, Stuart Gibbons, Damien Hurst, Roger Morton, Mark Werrell and Jason Haddington round out your top 30 there as well. So we are going to be underway. There is going to be a rolling start here at the same time. What are we looking out for, boys? Who's going to win?
I'm going to say Thurtle. I think he'll get a good jump on Fletcher.
Okay. Let me write this down.
Oh.
Come on, Callum. Who do you think?
Oh, I'm going to go Hedgecock.
Oh, Callum's gone Hedge. And I am going to go Fletch. Now, my luck, it'll be Jordan Malcolm or something. Now, that's going to be always the way here as well.
Well, I mean, who knows? After Dudley's pace last week, could be Ryan Dudley.
It could well be, to be fair, because he did an absolutely stellar job last week as well. So, fair play to Ryan Dudley there. We'll just have to see how this one works out here as well, as we've got currently 31 cars on the grid here as well, and we are with Mark Fletcher, the leader, the ready man. Who's going to be able to get in front? Who's going to take it down into turn 1? Are we going to see the chaos that we all are sitting here waiting for, or are we not? And it's going to be nice and clean in through turn 1. We have put it out in a little bit of a public service announcement that says, gentlemen, please be sensible into turn 1. I say with the highest amount of optimism here as well. As you can see, all the cars on track. The pace car is going to be in very, very shortly. Mark Fletcher will lead them the way. Thurtle is right in his rear like an absolute trooper. He knows Fletcher's going to jump. He knows he's going to go. The only question will be, when will it be? Fletcher's backing him up, backing him up, backing him up, and he's gone now. We are underway here for round 1 of the JPB GT4 Championship, live from Monza. And here's Mark Fletcher out in front with Arthur Thurtle, Adam Hedgecock, Marnik Heister, Jordan Malcolm further back side by side. You can see the leaders coming down now. Is everyone going to hit their brakes? They're going too wide. They're through in the midsection. They're through in the mid-pack as well. Are we going to get the back end through? Is everybody going to make it through the chicane? We have done it! Oh, yes, we have done it! Take that one as a win here as Fletch does lead us away here as well. Callum, that wasn't a bad start. Everybody made it through cleanly.
Yeah, that wasn't a bad start at all. A bit of door bash and a bit of nudging and a slight spin, but with a bit of teamwork, they actually spun the car back around. So fantastic start for all these cars, making it through turn 1 in peace so far.
Jordan Malcolm's off. Jordan Malcolm's off. I can tell you what he's done. He's gone and hit that edge of that chicane. And unfortunately for Jordan Malcolm, he has gone around. Did he go in all on his own? Was there contact? Did he hit the edge? There it is. There he goes. And unfortunately for Jordan Malcolm, he has gone around there as well. But Marnik Heister battling away with Adam Hedgecock. Hedgecock side by side on this run down into Ascari now. Hedges on the left. Heister just slips in behind him. There's action further back. Ryan Burgess is up 5. He's just got Kevin Delaunay. He's just gone through as well. They're all coming into Ascari here at the same time. Delaunay's going to try and make a move. Oh, Pinot, is he going to make it through? He's running him round here in the Aston Martin on the left, the BMW on the right. And it is Cabernet Delaunay. He's managed to get in front of Martin Sampson there as well. And almost Ryan Burgess, Nathan. That was unbelievable. He nearly made it 2 for 1.
Yeah, and that's one of the Aston Martins at the bottom of the grid going off there. I'm not sure who that was. I think that might have been Jamie Dangle, yeah. And that's the issue with Ascari. On the exit, you've got to be very careful. And we go side by side yet again with Delaunay through that final section at the Parabolica. And that's the one, and that's the Aston Martin of Burgess down at the final corner. And yet again, and there's actually loads of people going off. Yeah. There's about 3 or 4 there. I think that was also Verke as well. But we go through into Parabolica. And you can see that actually, was there a bit of contact going through there?
I don't know. No, he loses it on his own. Complete.
Yeah, and you can see
that's
2 other cars
Needham
going off.
Yeah, Needham went off at the same time there. Unfortunately for Burgess, he went and hit the wall. Needham went off as well. Needham's complete. Well, no, he hasn't. His rear wings jumped back on. Wonderful as well.
But Burgess went off, then another one had to move out the way, and then because he moved, I think it might have been Barnes who also ended up going off as well at that corner. So that's the issue. When you have cars fighting so much, they're all going to go side by side, and once one goes off, 2 or 3 can go off as well. And there's the 2 Mercedes fighting there. I believe that's Dudley and who is that? That's McCain, who's gone through into 4th now. So he's had a great start. Yeah. I was going to talk about Heister as he made 3 positions up on that opening lap down into turn 1. McCain's also made up 3 positions, and Hedgecock's moved down 1. So he's not had a great start, and Stuart Gibbons has also had an incident because he's dropped down to P20. So not sure what's happened down there.
Mark Werrell here as well, up 14 places. Currently sitting in 17th there for Mark. Absolutely stellar job from him there, Callum, as well. Anytime you gain positions is always good, Callum, and at 17 places, that's not 14 places, that's not a bad gain at all.
No, not a bad start at all. No one would really complain about that. So this is great momentum so far, and it's just a question now, how far can Mark push it? I mean, you can see the cars aren't that far up the road from him, so he may get a bit of a draft as well from the BMW, so he's going to be pushing his little heart out and trying to get that, maybe, who knows, up to 15, 16 positions gained so far in the next couple of laps.
Yeah, we've got Picanto and Needham and Babbage battling out down that start-finish straight. Needham's just gone out on the left-hand side here. Is he going to be able to make this through? He's using Babbage's draft. Babbage swaps over, gives the draft now to Picanto. Here he goes down into the chicane. Babbage is in the BMW, Needham's in the Porsche, Picanto's in the Mercedes. Needham's going to try and thread it upside. No, not this time around. Arnaud Chagnonier sits behind him as well and is doing an absolute stellar job trying to keep with him there. Roy Vivek has also got Jason Haddington and Ryan Burgess. Vivek on the left-hand side. On down into the Ascari they go. Is he going to be able to make it through? He's not. Burgess says no, not this time there, Nathan. And no way through for Vivek at the moment.
Yeah, and you can see there on Burgess's car, lots of damage at that front end of the car, which isn't ideal at all. So he'll definitely lose pace from that. And you can see he's lost pace. He's sitting down in 21st place. So yeah, he did start in 20th. He gained lots, but he's lost 2 positions now, along with Malcolm, who's ahead, who lost 17 positions. I'm not sure where that happened.
That was a spin out the chicane. That was he was coming out of the second Variante. He hit the curb on the outside and went round the purple car there of Jordan Malcolm. He spun it up off that curb, and to be honest with you, Callum, it's not one thing you want to be doing, getting on the curbs there.
No, the curbs are being proven to be dangerous already in this race, and obviously with a couple more laps to go, at least for race 1, there's still a lot more curb action to come tonight, I'm sure, as you can see the BMW getting up a bit there. And the worrying part is these little sausage curbs on the inside. You can see how high the car gets flicked as well when they hit those, and the suspension's rock hard on most of these cars, so some of them going over bumper to bumper, you know, that's not gonna come out in the best of shape. I think some of those cars, as they go over the rumble strip, sort of bumper to bumper and pushing each other over. So might get a bit ugly, but hopefully we're not going to see too much more curb action from some of these guys now.
Yeah, hopefully it will settle down and we'll see how we get on. Dan Babbage has got Fincanto behind him, and also Hedgecock is in front as well. He's trying to open the gap up to Dudley here. I want to say it's Ficato, but I'm not entirely sure if I'm getting that right, because it sounds like I'm calling him Encanto at the moment, and I deeply apologise. Fincato. Maybe we'll go with that. That sounds more Italian than what I was calling him originally. So, you know what I mean? Hopefully it won't take offence, and I'm sure he'll probably DM me and go, James, it's said like this. I'll be like, okay, thank you very much for that, sir. Martin Sampson's battling away with Stuart Rice down in 25th and 26th place here, Nathan.
Yep, and obviously down here there's not much to play for, so people will be a lot more aggressive in battling. You can see now into the braking zone for turn one, side by side. I think actually the McLaren's backed up a little bit. Yeah, just going to tuck in behind into turn one, so not sending many heroics into turn one there for Stuart Rice. And look at the top guys now. So Mark Fletcher's leading by 1.5 seconds, then we got Marnix 3 seconds behind, and then Alan McCain sitting 2 seconds behind him. So these top four worked it out brilliantly now. As long as they make no mistakes, they are going to be clear, and they probably will keep those top four positions. Remember, you've got the 45-minute race to come afterwards, so you don't want to push too hard and make too many key moves at the start of this race. And there we have, I believe that's Hedgecock, isn't it? Fighting with
Dudley.
Ryan Dudley.
Yeah,
yep,
Ryan Dudley there. It is, how can I see it? Attaching his back end to the front there as well. So DCS, DK Tim, C10 Sim Community. Hi JP, hello. Great comms. That said, let's go Dudley. Thanks mate. Well done. Let's go Dudley. He's currently sitting in 6th place. Is Mr. Dudley up 5 places, chasing down that big McLaren there of Adam Hedgecock in front of him currently at the moment as well. And also Torno Oromets down here in 16th place, chasing down Mark Werrell from Squadra di Corse Veloce. Well, if you're ever going to call yourself a team name, Callum, you might as well make it extra long for us.
Yeah, that reminds me of the Sao Corso Competizione name, to be honest. It's just add a little bit of extra spice on the end, but that's a quality team name right there, and certainly a lot longer team name than what we're used to seeing as well, and not a bad looking car either.
No, it definitely does look nice in that Aston Martin. Jamie Dangle is battling away here with Damien Hurst in front of him currently at the moment there as well. You can see down in the bottom right hand corner, Dangle is down 2, Hurst is up 1, and Dangle in that very colourful machine here earlier on sent me a nice little picture. So James, what do you think? I thought, well, not really sure what I can do about that, but there we go. As I say, that he's just gone into the pits. There's Jamie Dangle with 6 minutes to go. Mark Werrell and Torno Oromets still battling away down in 15th and 16th. Mark Werrell's now up 16 places currently at the moment. What's happened to Arthur? He's still in second, mate. He's still there. Don't worry, he's still doing what Arthur needs to do and get some points on the board. He's going to be able to have a go at Mark down into the first corner of the second race, of course. 45 minutes on that one. So a little bit more time for Arthur to make up here as well, as Fletcher is approaching Jack Werrell, who is currently down in 31st place. Stefan Mellis looks like he's just taken a trip from the Bonsai team there. And then you've got the Blade Designs of Stuart Gibbons, who's just lost that place to Jordan Malcolm, who's trying to battle his way back through the field, of course, after hitting the curbs and spun it round. Mark Werrell has now got Torno Oromet right behind him here, Nathan. What is he going to have to do here? Well, how is he going to be able to defend from this one?
I think the best thing to do is just try and send some dummy. For Werrell, he's got to try and send some dummy moves into a corner. Just try and make him. Who is it?
It's Oromets.
He's going to make a mistake. That's the best thing you can do at this position, because these cars you can defend very easily, especially into corners, because they're quite big cars, to be fair, even for a GT4. So yeah, you've got to just try your best to just try and make them make a mistake, put pressure on. That's the best thing to do. We've got 4 minutes to go, so he hasn't got long to do. So maybe at this point he might also think, well, we'll just stick behind and keep this position we've got here.
That might be there. Danny Weston doing some weaving there as well. Give him some hair. He could have plaited some. He was weaving that much across the start-finish line there as he goes down into the last 4.5 minutes. Roy Vivek has got Ryan Burgess tucked up right behind in front of him. So Roy Vivek is trying to get up into the back of the 666 of Ryan Burgess's Aston Martin as these guys come off running around Curva Blasano and into the second variante here as well. Burgess takes that defensive line. I don't think Vivek's even remotely close enough unless he's going to take a dive. He's not. Is he going to be able to get that Porsche slowed down? He is here, Callum. And once again, they settle in behind each other as well as we go back into Hedgecock Dudley, who's still scrapping it out.
Yeah, they're scrapping it out, but the main thing is at this point in the race, you know, you come up to the last few minutes, is trying to hold the positions that you've got, and if you can push forward, but if not, like in Hedgecock's situation here, you know, there's a bit of a gap to the car ahead, so I'll be trying to, if I was Hedgecock, I'll be trying to get into a rhythm and trying to maintain this advantage I have over Dudley, which isn't a lot, it's just under half a second, but it's enough if you can keep the consistency up and get into a rhythm and bring it home ready for the next race.
That's the important thing, of course, is race 2. It is set by the finishing positions in race 1. So let's see what happens here with Vivek and Burgess. There is Vivek. Is he going to be able to go up into the Parabolica or the Michele Alboreto Carver Parabolica, that, as it's known now, of course, with the big long name change that they have done to this track here as well. And Vivek looks like he may have managed to get through. And is it going to be job done? He opens up the steering of the Porsche, lets him, Burgess, know that he's not going to be able to come through, and that is the situation. Mark Werrell has got Toro Oromets making his way down into turn 1. Is he going to be able to get this job done? Is he going to be able to get it finished? He isn't this time around, and once more Oromets is sat behind him. We've got a little bit of a closer battle going on up front. Vincato here in the Mercedes chasing down Dan Babbage there, Nathan. Not many laps left. There's going to be this one and one more before the white flag. You know, are you now thinking I've got to stay where I am, or are you trying to gain as many positions as you can going into these last few minutes?
Well, if it was me, I would be staying where I am. Unless the car is terribly slow in front, I would just stay where I am. You don't want to, you know, for Vincato, he's sitting in 8th. You know, if he makes a mistake when trying to overtake Babbage, he could end up, you know, 10, 15 positions down, which is not good. You start in the top 8, that's a perfect place to start. And McCain has actually gained a lot on Hosher, so I think he's made a mistake. He's also sitting 3 seconds back off Thurtle now, so I don't think we're going to get much of a battle between these two at the top, but we'll just see if McCain can get a little bit more, because actually that's Hosher going really wide at the exit of Ascari. Yet again, those curbs are killers. If you take those curves by an inch, you are going to fly, and you could see there the Aston Martin nearly on 2 wheels. Go through that corner. Now McCain's going to gain a lot going through into the Parabolica, but you can just see he sits back. He doesn't want to send anything too much just yet, because we've got 1 minute and 24 to go, and you can see yet again Heiser going wide. You might have a bit of damage, because now McCain's got a great line coming through out to the Parabolica, then in towards turn 1. Obviously he's got the slipstream from the draft of the Aston Martin ahead. As we head down, the gap's just over a 1/10 of a second, and the question is, does McCain send a move into the around the outside at turn 1?
Well, here we go. This is going to be the question. It's going to be a big old deep lunge if he can. McCain has got to send it in a little bit deeper. If Hamilton and Verstappen can't get through here, I'm not quite sure how McCain and Heister are going to be able to manage it. Then they didn't. I didn't think that was always going to work here, as McCain now on with that Mercedes is now trying to tuck up behind Marnik Heister. He's going to try and run him around the outside. He's going to look almost like a slingshot coming off this final corner. Which way is Heister going to go? He's taken the outside line. McCain's going to try and run him up the side here. You can't squeeze him anymore. He's alongside you, dear sir. Got to give him that room to get through, and it looks like they're going to try and go too wide. There was an incident, and around they go. Around they go, and around they go. Was there room left on the exit? No. That looks like a tough one there as well, because he goes slight bit of contact, comes back on, and unfortunately that's Ryan Dudley there. How did that all settle out? Did they all manage to get out of the way after that? They did. They've just got to kind of all sit there at the moment here, Callum, as well. Oh, blimey. I bet Tom Weston there may have needed a new change of underpants after that one. I've got a funny feeling. Mark Fletcher has taken the white flag, and we are coming round to the last few corners here as well. the man that's going to take the victory in race 1 for the pros. It will be Fletch here as well. That puts me 1 up over the other commentators because that is who I picked for the win. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. As Hedgecock and McCain are fighting it out down the back straight as well. It's going to be Mark Fletcher comes over the line. He takes the victory. Hedgecock has got McCain in front of him. Hedgecock's going to try and run him down now. Is he going to be able to jump him at the line? They're not crossed the line yet. How's it going to go? Here's McCain. Oh, by 1,000th of a second over Adam Hedgecock there. McCain got it. What about Delaunay? Delaunay comes in behind Chagnon. Mark Werrell, is he going to be able to get out the inside of Orovets here as well? What of his ways? Werrell going to be able to get him? Tied it up against the wall. He's going to try. No, let's get him as well there as well. Only just, mind you. Good blimey, there's some very close finishing times here from these guys as they go over the line. And the last of them finishing there as well. Well, Callum, not a bad opening race.
Not a bad opening race at all. We mentioned it before the race had begun that we're going to have some really close battles between not only the top couple of racers in this session, but also throughout the grid. As you can see there, 16th and 17th. There's not much split in those two. Obviously, you've got 3rd and 4th. You've got 5th and 6th. So there's a lot of close finishes on there and still a few yet to come as well. But that only sort of adds anticipation and excitement leading into the second race and the larger race of the evening as well. So really looking forward to that one. That puts a bit more excitement onto there as well after what we've just seen in race 1.
Definitely, as we are waiting for Chris Barnes to come across the line and finish off here in 29th position. Chris in the Triple P racing car there. And he's got his teammate, Mr. Williams, who's just finished as well. Triple P Porsche, they're called. No, Dudley! I know, DCS. Such a shame. Torpedoed an off-track car. I don't know entirely sure if there's 100% he could do about that, but there we go. Right, here are the results from race 1. We have got Mark Fletcher out in front, Arthur Fertile in 2nd, Alan McCain 3rd, Adam Hedgecock 4th, Mirko Vincato in 5th, Dan Babbage 6th, Chris Needham 7th, Ryan Dudley 8th, Arnold Chagnon 9th, Cabernet Delaunay in 10th, Tom Weston 11th, Fausto Pinto in 12th, Marnik Heister 13th, Jordan Malcolm 14th, Danny Weston 15th, Torno Oromets 16th, and Mark Werrell is down in 17th place. Then beyond that, we've got Stuart Gibbons, Stefan Mellis, Roy Vivek, Ryan Burgess, Derek Craver, Jason Addington, Martin Sampson, Roger Morton, Stuart Rice, Damien Hurst, Rob Williams there as well. Nope. Hello? Come back. Thank you very much. When you're ready. 2 seconds. We will finish that off here as well. And Jack Werrell down in 31st place there as well. So not a 5-minute warm-up, should we say, ready to go for the race, as I'm not expecting many people to take to the track. And as I say that, Stefan Mellis goes out there, Callum as well. All right, first race over and done with. Fletcher, Fertile, McCain, Dudley, Pinto, Weston, Am Pros. You know, okay, to be fair, right, let's sum it up in one shout. They got through to turn 1 fine, right? And they managed it, didn't they? Everybody got through cleanly. No issues there, kicking it all off, Callum.
Yeah, no major issues there at all. The one thing I will be looking out for is any early slip-ups or little bits of contact between these cars leading into the second race, because we had a bit of it at the start of race 1. Obviously, we had a bit at the end of race 1 as well, but be looking to see if it maintains throughout the entirety of the race or not. Hopefully it doesn't, but that does put a few spanners in the works for a lot of these drivers as well, because we touched on it last week as well. When these cars do have little incidents, all the cars behind suffer big time. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there, especially with tight chicanes like the one we've got on turn 1.
Yeah, definitely have it as well. I want a quick chat with Mr. Arthur Fertile. Mr. Fertile, welcome into the booth, dear sir. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Wonderful. You know, it's a pleasure having a chat with you every time I ever get to have a chat with you in the booth. All right, 2nd overall. Not a bad start, mate. Not bad.
No, not bad. It's you know, I'm looking forward to the longer race. If I can get a better run through the first chicane, then if Mark hadn't got over a second in front of me from that first chicane, it was very level pegging up until the point I got to slow down.
Oh,
So I don't know if I was a bit closer and in a bit more tow, I might have been able to mount a bit of a challenge, but it was very tight on the lap times.
All right, and what are we expecting from you next time out?
Oh, I'm going to win by about 20 seconds, I reckon.
All right, mate. Awesome stuff. Well,
I'm joking. I'll probably be P2 again, but I'm going to try my best.
Hey, look, points on the board to start for round 1, right?
Yep, and it looks good for the stream as well. You've got the 2 altitude boys and the 2 SRL boys, P1 to P4. It's a real team battle going on.
Yeah, it definitely is as well. So that's going to be an exciting one. Aspirations really quickly for the season, Arthur. Aspirations.
I would really like to try and win.
Okay.
I'm going to do my best. This track is a McLaren track, so I'm not expecting too much, but some of the other tracks might suit the Aston a bit more.
All right. Okay.
Two temps in qualifying on a track where it's all straight lines. The McLaren's easily got that in it.
All right. Well, give it a go. And
cheers.
We'll speak to you at the end, mate.
Cheers. Speak to you later.
All right, we've got that one there as well. Who else can I grab in? I've got literally a minute. Let's see if I can pull Mr. Mark Fletcher into the booth here as well. Mark's probably sat there thinking, where have I just gone? Mark, welcome in really quickly. We've got a minute left. First in the sprint race, what's the aspirations for the feature?
Not do what I did last week, which was bin it on lap 1. But yeah, same again. Hedge did a phenomenal job there. We didn't actually choreograph that. I told him when I was going. He went. But yeah, that's exactly what we're going to do again in race 2. Whether we do the same start, who knows? We'll have to see.
I was going to say, you've just told everybody if you are.
But have I?
I don't really know, to be honest, Mr. Fletcher.
No, or me.
No, exactly. You know, Arthur said he wants to try and win the championship. What do you think?
He can try.
Okay.
I also want to win the championship. But yeah, again, Loinsy and Hedge doing a fantastic job, and yeah, looking forward to race 2 actually. With this pit stop, it's going to be definitely interesting. Whether it's a fuel saving game, because that would you'd massively undercut somebody if you can fuel save. So yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see.
All right, bud. Have a good one. Grid's climbing up now.
Nice one. Cheers, James. Speak to you soon.
Bye. Right. Let's wait for the grid here to come up for the next race. Of course, you just heard from the 2 protagonists. Mark Fletcher is in first, Arthur Ferdle second, Alan McCain third, Adam Hedgecott fourth, Mirko Fincato is in fifth, Dan Babbage sixth, Chris Needham seventh, Brian Dudley eighth, Arnold Chagnonier got ninth, Cabernet Delaunay 10th, Tom Weston 11th, and Fausto Pinto is in 12th place. Then beyond that, we've got Marnik Heister, Jordan Malcolm, Danny Weston, Torno Oromets, Mark Werrell, Stuart Gibbons, Stefan Mellis, Roy Vivek round out your top 20. Ryan Burgess 21st, Derek Crowell 22nd, Jason Huntington 23rd, Martin Sampson is in 24th. Didn't see much of him in race 1. Roger Morton, Stuart Rice, Damien Hurst, Rob Williams, Chris Barnes, Jack Werrell, and Jamie Dengle bringing up the rear there as well. So once again, we are going to be up and running. Once again, it's all about this start. Who's going to be able to get it here? Right, Callum, who you predicted for race 2?
Race 2, I'll back the confidence. Going for Thurtle.
Okay. Nathan?
I'm going to back what I said in race 1, Thurtle.
Ooh, you two going for the same people. Rude. Right, well... I think it might be Fletcher again here, I'm not going to lie. Okay. I've written them down, boys, so at the end of this, whoever loses, I'll send you the paper. Right, here we go. I'm back again for this start. 45 minutes race. John Higgins Jr. need to apologise, guys, despite beating Junior with the slipper last night. He couldn't make it tonight, but he does promise to race next week. He did sign up. I did see that, Mr. John Higgins Sr. as well. And he has already messaged me telling me that he couldn't make it tonight as well. So I have to let him off a little bit. Please don't beat him too hard, because that's, you know, he's not going to enjoy that one. But... look, at the end of the day, you've made the Clios, so that's all that matters. You can take the chin up from that one and go, yes, I've done it. So here we go. Once more at Monza, 45-minute race. We've got the lights are going to be ready to go. We've got Fletcher, we've got Furtle, we've got McCain, we've got Hedgecock, we've got Picanto, who I'm definitely going to have to DM to find out how you say his name properly, because I'm sure I'm butchering it some way or another. And right, let's see how we get on. Are we going to be able to do this? Are we going to be able to get through the same way cleanly? It is SRL, altitude, up front, currently at the moment. Here we go. On to the JPB chopper, flying around Monza on Italy. He's gone already. Fletcher's gone, but did he go too early? Is he going to leave the door open for Ferdl trying to get down? It looks like McCain's already jumped Hedgecock. Hedgecock did not get the rundown that he thought he was going to get. And unfortunately, it looks like McCain might have got past him. Hedgecock's gone in deep. Is he going to be able to stop that car coming up the outside of McCain? He makes it through. What about in the mid-pack? You can see, no, not this time around. Tom Weston, Chris Barnes, Roger Morton, unfortunately all involved in that one. You can see them all trying to sort themselves out. Roy Verbeek, unfortunately, as well. And that, it looked like it may have started. Oh, blimey, there was a lot of cars involved in that. And it looks like Roy Verbeek may have kicked this one off here. Oh, he did. He went in too hot. Boom, straight through, nowhere to go. Danny Weston, Tom Weston, car number 25 in the process, Mark Werrell. And poor old Roy Verbeek is going to have to come out and eat a little bit of humble pie on that one, Callum, because that did not look like an ideal start from him.
No, that didn't. We've got a couple of cars going off early doors. This is one thing I was talking about before.
Hold your brakes, Marnik Heister. Does do. He just jumps back into the pits, I think, there as well. He does. Yeah, not an ideal start there. Verbeek going off, and unfortunately, it all going a bit wrong.
Yeah, it's not ideal whatsoever, and this is what we were talking about just before the start of the race. You know, with these little incidents like this at early doors, it's interesting to see what will happen for these cars leading through, because obviously this isn't a sprint, it is a marathon, so there's a lot to play for still. So those cars that spin early doors still have a chance to get back in the race and get back in the mix in the main pack.
Jordan Malcolm's trying to go up the inside of Cabernet Delaunay, round the parabolic he goes. He's got that car more hooked up in that McLaren. I'll tell you what looks nice down here. Look at that. 3 triple Ps there, all at the same time, Callum. Stewart, Williams and Barnes all together on track. That looks pretty, doesn't it?
That certainly does. It puts a smile on my face to see all the boys together. It's,
unfortunately, Rice just gone. Barnesy went a little bit wide there and allowed Jamie. Rice went wide and allowed Dengle through. But, you know, overall it looks quite good.
Yeah, no, it's good to see all these cars running together. Stuart Rice getting a bit of a last-minute livery put on there because he wanted to give the McLaren a test, I believe, tonight. So this is going to be a big test for Stuart Rice in the McLaren to see how he finds that.
Yeah, absolutely. Ficanto is up in front there as well. Once again, battling away with Dan Babbage. We've got Fletcher, we've got Ferdl, we've got Hedgecock, we've got McCain. What's the story, Nathan? What do we think is going to have to happen here? 42 minutes on the clock. A couple of people been in the pits due to unfortunate damage. Not ideal there.
I think the main thing we'll have to see from is the pit stops. Obviously, some people might just try and burn as much as fuel as they can, then pit earlier. Some might try and save their fuel and go a little bit longer. So I think that's the main thing we need to look out for. We've got about here with Malcolm. Got up the inside there of Fincato, pushing Fincato wide there, just touching the grass. Luckily makes it through fine, and I think Delaunay also gets through. And a bit of flash of the headlights there, because obviously Mercedes wasn't happy with that at all. And can we see Delaunay try and get through? Actually, no, it'll be Malcolm looking for a move on Shanonia down in towards Ascari up the inside, and the McLaren seems like it's performing really well on this track. Malcolm has made some great moves. He's already up by 7 positions in about 3 minutes. So yeah, this McLaren working really well, and you can see it's very planted, hence why it's very oversteering. So far it's working well, because now Fletcher's actually dropped over a second to Thurtle, so that's not the that's not ideal for Thurtle, but he's got to just try and bring something back. So the main thing will be just hoping that Fletcher makes some sort of mistake. But talking back what happened on lap 1 with Rory Verbeek, the issue you have with being on the grass is you just can't brake. The car just won't brake once you're on the grass. So that's why, you know, he's moved out the way because he broke to like hit the grass, and then as soon as that happens, you can't, you know, the car will just slide across. And he took about 4 cars out there, so it seemed that Verbeek's plans was to make turn 1 a bowling alley, which isn't the most ideal scenario. And Delaunay into turn 1 there, looking for a move on the Mercedes, just not able to outbrake the Mercedes enough there, and you can still see now Malcolm looking to try and chase after Ryan Dudley.
Yeah, he definitely is there. Well, involved in that Verbeek incident was Danny Weston, Tom Weston, Torno Oramet, Stepfield Mellis, Jason Haddington, Stuart Rice, Jack Werrell, Rob Williams, Martin Sampson, Jamie Dengle, Roger Morton, Damien Hirst and Chris Barnes. So all in all, Roy Verbeek, you've struck Well done. Good job there, sir, as well. Unfortunately for Vivek, he hit the grass. I think that's the thing. We know, Callum, that the grass in iRacing is just completely irrelevant, and it does, unfortunately, make you slip off there. I want to touch on that, Monix, here as well, because you did kind of run wide on your jacks here, and then spin it round. So, unfortunately, I'm not sure on that one what that situation was. And in race 1, there wasn't a lot of room left on the outside there for that Mercedes to get up the inside of you. So I think that's pretty much a racing incident in turn 1, and unfortunately that looks like it could have been all undoing in race 2 there, as we see Cabernet Delaunay, Chagnon going side by side. Needham's got a bit of a blinking internet, and I don't mean blinking as in ear, there's my blinking dog. I'm saying as in ear, his internet's stuttering out there as well, unfortunately. And he's looking like he's been in and out here as well. We've got a train of 5 cars there, Callum. Not a bad run at all. Cabernet Delaunay out in front, Chagnon, Needham behind him. Then we've got Fincanto, Pinto and Oromets all at the same time battling it out here in this, what is race 1, and they've got 39 minutes remaining.
Yeah, plenty of time on the clock still, but obviously the draft is going to play in a big favour of those behind the leading BMW there. As you can see, the Porsche has the momentum now to go up side by side with the Beamer leading into the first turn, and these cars are almost going to go 3 wide by the looks of it, leading up into turn 1. This is going to be interesting.
2 banks of 2 here. Delaunay, Needham, Chagnon. Oh, you can't. All right, son. Oh. I'm not entirely sure what that was. Oh, Needham and Delaunay just kind of locked horns. Needham pushed out a little bit, didn't really leave space on the outside. And unfortunately, it does leave Delaunay going off track and pushing Needham with him as well. Up front, you've got Chagnon battling away with Pinto here as well. He makes it through on that time. The battle is more in this mid-pack, Nathan, currently at the moment, between 8th and down in 15th.
It is, and that turn 1 incident worked really well for Pinto. He gained about 4 positions, I think, there at turn 1. And I think between Needham and I think was it Fincanto, wasn't it?
Delaunay.
Yeah, I think the issue with that is, you know, once you go into turn 1, you have the slight bit of contact, especially because it's on the rear. It's a lot easier just to spin the car around, and maybe nearly go with 3 for 1. Oh, there's a big collision. That's Delaunay and the other BMW. That is Orme, both round.
Yeah.
And multiple cars being caught up there, and everyone having to slow down just to get out of the way. About 6, 7, 8 cars involved. Yeah. And that's the type of collisions you don't want down a straight when they're going 3 wide. Yeah. And the Triple P's nearly making a bit of contact to Ascari.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to make it 3 wide down there, and unfortunately it looked like it just all kicked off. Unfortunately, going down that straight area, I'm going to have a look, and I'm probably going to try and guess that it starts somewhere around this mid-area collision here as well with these guys. And there it is, Cabernet Delaunay. No, that was the first one. That's where he got caught up. Is this where he goes off? No, that is Needham as well. And then it could all be on this one. Look at that, 3 wide. Not entirely sure. Oh, that was the Mercedes there as well. Was that Fincanto getting across on Delaunay? And that spun Oromets there as well, unfortunately. So Fincanto may have to have a look at that one on that conversation there, Callum, as he looked like he may have been responsible for that.
Yeah, unfortunate there for Fincanto. It did look a bit like it rested on his shoulders, but good thing to see, though, is that's a good example to use for putting on your brakes. As soon as that BMW went into a T-bone position, there were brakes being put into play there. Bit later than what we'd like to see, but you know, these racers are only doing it as soon as they can, and their reactions may be slightly off because there's a lot of things to focus on inside that car, especially when you're in packs, as you can see, like these on your screens.
Yeah, definitely, they were all together, and unfortunately there as well, it was always going to be difficult. There was nowhere to go. Fincanto didn't really know where to go. Delaunay probably might have been a little bit easier if one of them had lifted there. I think that might have been the way to go. So yeah, I probably would have lifted and not got myself involved in that 3 wide. I really do not want to be involved in that. Delaunay's trying to come back through the field. He's got Stefan Mellis in front of him. He's got Williams right behind him as well. And Dengel and Barnes. So these guys battling further down here as well once more as they're going through the track. Williams has overshot that corner. He overshot that corner, manages to avoid the back of Mellis. Unfortunately, it looks like he may lose his position to Barnes on the way up. So let's see how this one goes here as well. Nathan, how do we see this one working out?
It's either going to go very cleanly, or there's going to be someone in the wall here at Parabolica. As we head down now, and that is, I believe, Barnes on the inside line there, braking a bit later, trying to get in. But that's the... Is that one of the Aston Martins? He's just trying to get something on the outside, and I think he might be able to try and get something. But the good thing for the Porsches are they're working together. They can try and defend cleverly against Dangle and Orme as they head down the main straight. And obviously, the Porsches having some great top-line speed as we head down. And actually, this is battle for 12th. This is Sampson and Fincato.
Yeah, Fincato there as well. Barnes is clear. Williams got a little nudge from Dengle. Dengle won out a line there as well. That was Jason Haddington from the Air Smart with Oramet's tucked up right behind him. Weston and Roger Morton is battling it out here with Damien Hirst. He's trying to get through as well. Morton does manage to make it through here. Back up front, we've got Dan Babbage fighting away with Jordan Malcolm.
Yeah, Malcolm's had a really good start, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He started down in 14th and he's just moving up and up and up. He's now looking to try and take P5. He's going to go up the inside of Babbage, or well, it's the outside, then into Ascari now. We'll see if he can try and clear him actually before the corner, which I think he will, as they still go down inside for Babbage, and he does sit back. So Malcolm, great start now up to P5, and also these McLarens, they're moving their way up the field really well, because Gibbons has gained 6 positions, Croth has gained 13, and Malcolm's gained up 9. So these McLarens working really well, especially in the top, the straight line speed. And this is Pinto fighting with, I believe that is Mellis, isn't it? Heading towards Ascari.
There it is, and Tom Weston trying to come back through as well. Got caught up in that lap 1 incident there, going into the chicane. Callum, I don't really know how that one's going to get explained from Roy Vivek on that time.
No, it's certainly going to be tricky for that, and I think there's a couple of little slips and trips throughout this race that we've seen that are going to be a bit interesting. It may take a few look backs to actually get to an answer, but it's the main thing is with these races at the minute is they got to try and put all these incidents behind them, and anything that's happened is the main thing is keeping your cool and getting into that rhythm. It's so vital that if you have a situation like that, you get back into your rhythm and get going again, because you can easily make up some positions, because those that can't keep their head as cool as you and maybe a bit wound up by the incident are probably going to be driving a bit more tough, as we can see a bit closer between the Mercedes and Aston Martin, and there's going to be contact. Yeah,
I'm not I don't get that. He come over on him. There's just nowhere to go. You can't do that going down into turn 1. And if that comes out, that obviously anything's said on that, obviously, you can't expect to be side by side. He come over once on him there as well. He was probably right near the front of him at the same time. You can see Weston's alongside him, and he just closes the door. I'm not sure where you're expecting Weston to go there. I've got to be honest, Mr. Dengle. He ain't Harry Houdini. He can't just disappear that car off track. And oh, Mellis! Oh, Mellis into Pinot! Oh, just as we go on, Mellis slides up, goes into Pinto there as well. 31 minutes on the clock. These guys are going to have to get it back and get that car repaired. Derek Crowber, Gilles chasing it down for Canto. We've got Adam Hedgecock. It's still got Alan McCain battling away here as well. And Mark Fletcher is opened up for 1.7 seconds over Fertile at the moment. Don't forget, we have got pit stops. Sampson and Crowber battling it out here once more. Pinto and Weston, they've just swapped positions further down the order. That's with Danny Weston, of course, not Tom. As we can see, Sampson in the Porsche trying to go up the inside of Crowber. Crowber gives him a wide berth. There you go. Can be done, gentlemen. We don't have to hit each other into that one. Well,
yeah, and I've been looking at the off-track count, and the top 2 have got 9 off-track limit warnings. Everyone else in the grid has got no more than 7. So the top 2 seem they're pushing quite a lot, considering there isn't much to play for, considering they're 5 seconds ahead of 30. So it reminds me of Max Verstappen at Spain. Didn't need to go off-track, but for some reason decided to. So that's confusing with the top 2, obviously pushing really hard. And I've been looking at the battle with Hedgecock and McKenna as well, and that's really coming down, that gap is. So that could be an interesting one to watch for the fight for 3rd. Dudley as well, looking to gain a bit on Babbage, because Malcolm's made a bit of a mistake, and Babbage has gained back up to within a 1.1 second.
Yeah, it definitely has there as well. So it's all getting very close throughout the field. 30 minutes on the clock, gentlemen. Too many drivers spoil that corner, says VJ. Not entirely sure what corner you're on about. I think that might have been a light message there. And McLaren hacks. I think that's the thing, VJ. Arthur Vettel's already come out and said this is a very McLaren-dominated track. So, you know, it's... I think between the McLaren and the Mercedes, it's going to be tough for any of these guys, to be honest, as well, because it is obviously an ideal scenario for them. They're in the McLaren, they're in the Mercedes. I do want to jump down to quickly Jason Haddington, who is pushing Tom Weston there, the double Mercedes, currently here at the moment on track, as they're currently going around Lesmo 2 and up through into Variante Ascari here once more. So let's see how these guys get on as well. Keeping an eye on the battle up front all at the same time. Hedgecock's coming down, Dudley's coming down here as well. And Needham is also getting onto the back of hers further down. So there's battles all the way through currently, Carolyn. Where do we point the camera? Who are we looking at?
Well, that's a very good question. At the minute, it looks like Dudley is having the closest battle so far from what I can see, and then followed by Werrell as well. So they're the two closest battles on the grid at the minute. You can see Burgess and Werrell fighting between each other at the moment and jumping around. But yeah, Dudley and Babbage, they had some good fighting in the mountain last week, and they're certainly having some good fighting again here. So Dudley's really keeping up that momentum of good, strong performances, top of the AMs at the moment as well.
I don't believe he is. I
Is he
don't
not?
know. I don't believe he is. I've just looked at his car and realised he's sitting with pro decals on. I think there was a decision this week that he was going to move into the pros. And I think that's why Dudley's sitting green with Dan Babbage at the same time, because he is moved into the pros and it's currently gone up this week. I think there was a decision where he was going to be looking, it was too quick for the AMs, so he was moved into the pros. And you can see it's done him well because he is still sitting in 7th place, up 1 position here as well. So I think that's why Dudley has gone and done that one. Do the guys who jump to the pits for a repair, will that class as their pit stop? You can do, yes, and they can add fuel, but they've got to wait for their tow time to come down. Then they've got to wait for their repair, their fast repair, which will take a couple of seconds, and then the pit stop can kick in after that. So yes, they can, but they will have to wait quite a bit of time in the process here as well. Dan and Babbage and Dudley here on track currently at the moment, battling it out here, Nathan, and I think it could be another one that's going to get really, really close.
Yeah, I think it will do. Especially, you can see the Beamer of the Mercedes. There doesn't seem to be much of a difference with car performance, and McLaren just seems to be quicker than anyone. But these two seem to be quite close, so I think this battle will be very close. I think it will stay throughout the whole race between these two. And Malcolm has got through on Hedgecock as well down at Ascari. He's having a great race, 14th to 4. At the moment, he's looking possibly for a podium because he's already got within a second ahead of McCain. And now we watch Dudley up the inside, down in towards the braking zone at the chicane at turn 1. He's going to brake a bit later. Let's see who will get through ahead. I think it might be Babbage. Dudley's going to, Babbage going to go up the inside there. Dudley goes a little bit wide, a bit deep, but bad exit for Babbage as well. So they're going to still go side by side, possibly down in towards the Rogers chicane.
Yeah, going to have to there as well. Chris Evans gutted, I'm not racing tonight. Tech problems, my end. Might have to miss next week's as well. Well, there is enough people in the Discord, Chris. What's the problem? Tell us, and I will probably not be able to help because my technology is very limited, but somebody in chat might be able to help you out if you want to let everybody know what the issue you're having here is as well. I know there's been a few issues with iRacing since the update, and I know there's been a couple of problems for people, so you know, it was a bit of a difficult one. Mr. Dengle, no, young sir. No. I'm going to argue with that one, on that one, for your first incident, Mr. Dengle. You cannot be coming across the front of people, well, as I watch you go off track and just go and T-bone the barrier completely on your own on that one. So that's probably not the incident I want. I want this one. Dear sir, I'm going to have a chat. You cannot come over. Mr. Weston is alongside you now. Oh, he might have been a little bit further back than we may have given him credit for there, gentlemen.
See, I think the blame lays on Weston there. I think Dengle's fine to put his car in that racing line. He's more than far enough. You can see there, Dengle's committed to that inside line. He goes a bit wide, but he comes back over, and it's hard. Oh, You know, that's a hard one to call.
Yeah, he missed.
Because Weston broke really late, but you can see Deggle did move over a little bit. So I think there it'll probably go down as a 50-50. And Malcolm already on the back of McCain. So within 2 laps, he's gained 8 tenths and he'll go up the inside into turn 1 where he sits back. But yeah, this McLaren it's unreal.
Yeah, it definitely is. Chris, on the trade-in paints, uninstall it and reinstall it. I had the same problem yesterday after the update. It wouldn't refresh the paint, so I had to uninstall trade-in paints and then reinstall it again. So you're going to have to do that one, young sir, on to be able to do that. So that is where the problem lies. I will say on the session registration, it does open at 6 p.m, sir, as we watch Jordan Malcolm go past Alan McCain there, and Malcolm is now into 3rd place, up 11 places. He's still got a pit stop to do, of course. Nobody has pitted currently at the moment. Ficano is going alongside Chagnon is there on the run up into the 2nd Variante, side by side, the 2 Mercedes. Ficano goes through this time and job done on that one. So he goes up, currently sitting up in 8th place is Ficano. So yeah, all in all, not a bad job from some of these guys. Kevin Delaunay and Barnes have just had a coming together.
Well, I'm going to say, is it coincidental that Delaunay has been involved in a lot of incidents?
Well, I don't really know.
Replay?
Okay, so he bounces. Oh.
That's not Delaunay's fault there, I don't think. You can see Barnes hop the chicane. It moved him over a little bit on the line, and then Delaunay had nowhere to go.
Callum, what do you think? He's your teammate.
It was difficult to tell from that camera angle, I have to admit. I can't say anything. I can't say anything bad about either drivers, to be fair.
Let me give you a better angle here. Look, on top of the chopper, what more of an angle can we ask for?
Yeah, the Porsche got squirrely underneath Barnes' control. So he hopped the curb, and to be fair, you can see he lost the back end a little on the exit, and there was just no recovering it. So he pushed him wider, and then obviously it's not the BMW's fault. That's the only place the BMW can be. It's like you said earlier. You can't just make the car disappear. So Barnes has had no choice but to be spun there, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Callum. I should have put you on the spot there. That was very nasty of me. As Martin Sampson and Chagnon battling down into the first chicane here as well. I will agree with you, Mr. Dengle, but I will also say that there was a bit of a late break in from Mr. Weston, who went for a gap that was there, and then the door did close on him. So I do understand what you're saying, and I take it on board, and I'll give you credit where credit's due. I will say err on the side of caution last time, that time, no, because obviously you gave the space you needed, and unfortunately there was a little bit of a late dive from Mr. Tom Weston that did end up tagging your rear side. And besides, I tell you what, this is one point that really drives me crazy, right? If anybody comes out and says, yeah, but Tom was alongside me, well, no, he technically wasn't. He barely had his nose of the car up the inside of you. So I'll give you credit on that one. I will give you credit on the Tom Weston one down into turn 1 there. So fair play to you. But yeah, just a little bit more wiser. Team SRL winner. Well, currently you're sitting in 2nd and 4th. So unfortunately not at the moment. But let's see here with Chagnon and Sampson. Sampson's going for it again through the final corner on the track. Of course, the Ascari, and then they're going to go running up into the Parabolica. I think that is a tough one, Nathan, when you see it in that picture, don't you, with Dudley and Weston?
Yeah, it's a really hard one to call. So, yeah, I think it's more preference in the terms of like what you think is worst move. I think it's 50-50, but you'll all have that opinion what you think's worse. For me, I think that Weston had more right to that, but it just depends, and that's someone going slow there. Is that Babbage?
Babbage, yeah, I think Babbage has done this.
Pitting.
No, I think this has probably not also helped him here as well. Got a funny.
He hops the curb.
No, he's going to slide it
onto
up
the grass.
And now he's just trying to get it back. I think that's the situation.
Could be heavy damage there.
Yeah, I think if we can look here. Well, the steering wheel's not too far out of centre. We've seen worse, Callum, haven't we? Where they've been like literally 90 degrees there.
We have seen worse, and I have to admit, seeing as it's come to me on a decision about a little incident, I will refer to my knowledge of these cars, and I have to admit I do have my fair share of putting these in the wall. And they're not very nice when you get a situation like what Babbage was just in, where one of your steering wheel, one of your front wheels are affected, and that really off-centers your steering wheel. And I have to admit, you could see how much that's pulling to the left. So any instant that these cars are in, yeah, you can go door to door, a bit of bashing here and there, but those front wheels even get slightly touched, even with a little paper clip, it's noticeable, and it's not nice at all. So I've had my fair share there, and I have to sympathise there for Babbage and the others that have had some incidents today that affect their steering.
Yeah, definitely on that one. Oh, Mr. Sedgley, doubt he'll get a trophy. Knock it off. Well, we had Farrell got third in the Clio, didn't he? And got a trophy. Bless him. He stood there so proud. I'm so proud that we managed to give him his first ever trophy in Oh, come on. What is going on? Every time I click on a driver, they end up going round. This ain't ideal. What happened to Fausto Pinto there? Oh, no. He's going to be all on his own.
Again.
Yeah, he's going to bounce that curb, hit the outside. He's going to
see that.
No, watch the grass. Watch the grass.
Oh yeah.
And then bam.
See, I've driven on iRacing with the Masters, the MX. Is it the
MX-5s?
Yeah. And the grass, it's like driving on ice.
Yep.
You cannot control the car. So if you end up on the grass, I'm not going to blame you for that, because literally it's impossible. And there we are. Thurtle, first of the top three to go into the pit lane.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's an earlier call than the others. And I just want to talk about that gap between Fletcher and Thurtle. Between lap 3 and about lap 10, the gap did not change once. It stayed at 2 seconds flat. So, to be fair, considering it's a McLaren track, Thurtle did well to hold on.
Yeah, he did, and he's currently gone into the pits, of course, and is now sitting there in 5th place. Well, we've got a short minute. If you have missed the beginning, this is what happened at the beginning here. No, we are going to be a long way back on that one. I don't really want to be that far back. Let's try again and get a little bit more forward here as well. Let's try just on this one. Right, watch Roy Vivek on the left-hand side here. He has a commentator's curse. Shut up, DCS. Stop encouraging it. It's a commentator's coincidence. He hits the grass. This is the problem with Vivek, right? He's running straight. The car comes over, he hits the brake, then he hits the grass, and then it's just who's he going to take out next? And that is, well, pretty much everybody in that mid-pack. So, unfortunately for Vivek, you got to think of it, son. It might also have been down to you on that one. But Stuart Rice and Stefan Mellis battling it out side by side, coming down into turn 1. Is Rice going to have a go? Nope, he sits back in behind Mellis. Burgess, Crowther and Babbage. These guys have all pitted here as well. And we can show you who has currently pitted, who has not pitted, and who will be looking at pitting. Yep, top 6. Have not pitted with Weston there as well. So Tom Weston has also not pitted. Top 3 are in the pits as we talk currently at the moment. They all are coming down the pit lane. So it's going to be where this man is going to be able to, what he's going to be able to do is he's coming round the final corner here. This is going to be very close from Fertile. We'll go on board the chopper. Fletcher's on his way out. He is moving. Bartle's coming down now. He's going to have a massive amount of overspeed. I think Fletcher's still going to keep this, though. How many people are Bartle going to get? He's got Malcolm. He didn't get Fletch. Fletcher's coming down into turn 1. So is Thurtle. So it is still Fletcher, Bertle, and then Malcolm. Obviously, Sampson's at the top of the timing tower. He has not pitted yet. Weston's just gone in as well. So everybody has eventually pitted there. And we are going to be back up and running once more with these guys on currently 16 minutes remaining.
Yeah, and Malcolm's now into provisional position, podium position, because McCain's jumped Hedgecock in the pit. So for Malcolm, I would say this is, at the moment, Malcolm is more driver of the day.
Yeah.
Or driver of the evening, we should say.
Well, driver of the day is fine. Let's just got to go up the inside of Rice here. What do we reckon, Cal? Rice is doing pretty well in that, Mark.
Yeah, he is. He's not doing too bad at all. And considering from what I know, he said that this is really going to test his skill and the car as well. He's going to push it to its limit. As you can see, it's a kind of last-minute decision to get a livery on there, thanks to Blade Design. So he's using this as a big tester, and he's done really, really well tonight. I'm thoroughly impressed with the performance we've seen, and hopefully I haven't said anything too much as he holds the outside line. They're almost 3 wide. the exit there. So that's pretty close between those three, and everyone keeps it nice and safe through there, which is what we like to see at the end of the day.
Yeah, we definitely do that as well. And these guys have managed to keep it nice and clean once more. And it's getting very, very tight. JP, focus on Fletcher for a few laps. Why am I going to focus on Fletcher when he's out in front by 1.25 seconds, like 5.5 seconds out front, VJ? Look at this battle you've got on your screen currently with Rice, Mellis and Morton. Why are we going to look at somebody out in front doing nothing on his own? Come on. It's all about the action. All about the action. Battle's catching when he's got about 5 seconds to kind of try and catch up here currently at the moment. Sampson's in the pits, of course. Jack Werrell and Derek Qualver continue to fight it out. Jack from Squadra de Corse Veloce here currently in 14th place. Jack and where is the other Werrell? Mark Werrell is in the pits. They are father and son. Jack is the son, Mark is the father. So there we go. Mark Werrell into the pits, unfortunately going down the order, dropping below his son currently at the moment. It's Qualver in 12th, Werrell in 13th, and then we've got Mellis and Rice all still battling it out further down. These guys still look like they're having a nice little tidy battle down here, Nathan.
Yeah, and it's going pretty well. We had the main issues at the start, but since that, it's kind of leveled out. No one's really getting involved in many incidents and being slammed into the wall like we did in what we saw in the first 6 or 7 laps. And Stuart Rice is having a pretty good run. He's heading now down heading shortly down towards turn 1, and he's behind Mellis and Morton. So we'll see if he can get something to work. I doubt he will, though. To be fair, you got the slipstream, but in these cars, the slipstream isn't that good unless you're about 2 or 3 tenths back. Obviously, with these cars, they have no DRS, so you're not going to have that advantage in towards turn 1. So I think we're going to make a comparison to F1 with this. The racing, to me, not comparison. What's the word? A non-comparison in terms of the fact it's not similar. The racing is nothing like it here. The racing, for me, is 10 times better because cars actually battle. In F1, you go down the main straight, you fly past. Here, cars are actually going side by side into corners. And in F1, the only time they go side by side, they end up in the gravel. So I think, to be fair, I enjoy this racing more than F1, which is a hard thing to say considering I've been doing F1 commentating for over a year and a half. Yeah,
I find at times that as much as I think to be at the show almost would be nice, right? But I've got to be honest, I don't think I would. I think I'd end up getting a little bit bored because I watch it at home and I watch the start and go, yeah, they're really good and they're going to be flying away, and then about 5-10 minutes in, I'm asleep on the sofa after I've eaten my Sunday dinner, and then I wake up 10 minutes before the end. I even tried watching the highlights of the Spanish Grand Prix the other day. I managed about 15 minutes and fell asleep in bed.
Well, I support Max, and I made about 3 laps before switching it off for a bit. I just put it on the second screen. I thought, I'm not watching this. It was boring. Yeah. And then I switched back at the end.
Yeah. What about you, Callum? Yeah. How much do you watch of the F1?
When I have the time to, I do tend to sit here and watch the whole race. But I have to admit, since it's become the Verstappen show, it's got a bit boring for me because it's. You can almost predict the top 3, but I've been rooting for Alonso so far this season because it's quite nice to see an old face up there. So, yeah, there's a bit of excitement here and there, but when it's a Verstappen show, it gets a bit tedious.
Yeah, it definitely does here. Hedgecock is battling it out with McCain. Hedgecock there looks like got a slowdown out of the Lesmo, and unfortunately for him, McCain has gone through. Ficanto and Dudley still battling it out for 6th and 7th place. Qualver and Werrell, and then we've got Mellis further down, still battling it out. What looks like it may have just be Mellis and Rice now. Looks like Roger Morton has opened up a gap currently here as well. Jack Werrell's gone about having a nice little quiet race, battling away with Qualver. Werrell in the Aston, Qualver in the McLaren. Again, fairly dominated circuit from the McLaren, sorry. And again, it looks like it's going to be a McLaren come out on top. I think Fletcher's got a 6.5 second gap currently at the moment.
Yeah, he's increasing that gap gradually over the course of a lap, or every lap so far, to Thurtle, but I'm not going to lose hope in Thurtle. You never know what will happen in the last few moments. There were a couple of incidents last week with these in the last couple of laps, so it will be tight between these two, I think, leading up to the end.
Yeah, I think it definitely will be as well. You can see the groups on the left-hand side there. And you can see that obviously currently at the moment, Fletch, Bertel, Malcolm, Sampson, Werrell, Crowther are your current positions there as well. So great job from them guys, and yeah, really mixing it up currently at the moment in the Pro-Ams, something that we're really going to be hopefully seeing as the season goes on, and one that I think everybody is going to be looking out for here as well, because it will be absolutely incredible battle here from all of them. And so sit comfortably, guys, get ready for this, because this whole season is going to be an epic scrap between Fletch, Bertel, Malcolm, McCain, Hedgecott, Vicanto, Dudley and Babbage in the pros, and then in the AMs you've got Sampson, Werrell, Crowther all battling it out here as well, with Gibbons, Morton, Rice and Hurst. So once more, sit back, enjoy the racing, because trust me, it is going to be rather spicy here on the JPB YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, turn on the bells for all your notifications, because we have got a lot more action coming up this week, as well as we have pretty much every single day. But Dan Babbage, Martin Sampson and Arnold Chagnon are having a nice little tidy battle here, Nathan, as well, and one that I think could go down to the wire.
Yes, definitely. I think it will definitely go down to the wire. And also, you've got Dudley, he's actually on the back of Finkerton now. I still don't know how to say that name. Still,
Picanto.
I'm still trying to figure it out. Finkerto,
maybe I'll have to do a Duolingo and see how they pronounce it. I don't know on that one here as well. But Danny Weston has just lost a position to Damien Hurst here, unfortunately, as well. So Danny Weston trying to battle away with Damien Hurst further down in the order. But Babbage, Sampson, and currently Babbage, Sampson and Chagnon battling it out in the middle there. But overall, it's looking like an absolutely barnstorming race once more, with 8.5 minutes left to go here. Callum, who do you think is going to come out on top?
I think it's going to be Fletch, but I've still got a back throttle. You know, I can't just change. I'm not a glory hunter. I can't change who I'm supporting in the fight for the P1 overall, just because I see Fletch at the top. So I still got a back throttle, but I think Fletch might have what he needs in the tank to bring this over the line in P1.
Yeah, I think so as well, to be honest. Oh, mind you, he was my pick. So, gentlemen, that will put me 2 up going to the end of this race. Just like to point that out as well. You know, I win absolutely nothing, but just a bit of fun. You know what I mean? So,
well, you top qualifying and you top the sprint race. Well, first race, sprint race, what you want to call it. So does that mean that you're glory hunting?
No, it just means I'm not crazy and I pick the winner. Don't come to me for Grand National tips, mind you, because I'll end up with a 3-legged dog at the back or something. And his name would be Tripod. So, yeah, don't come to me for tips on that one. Just at the end of the day, I think it's just Fletcher's just too strong. I've got to be honest, I think he's just too strong. However, for Mark Werrell, it hasn't looked good going down into turn 1 currently. What did Mark get up to? Coming down now. Oh, he's just going to overcook it. Bounce across the sausage curbs. Nowhere really for him to go there. And Roy Verbeek, who obviously was involved in the turn 1 pinball strike process, and just manages to avoid him there as well. But Mark Fletcher out in front. 6.5 minutes just on your clock. Currently, that's going to give us about another 3 laps here of this circuit. This is now coming round the back markers. Arthur Fertel, Jordan Malcolm is involved as well. There goes Arthur. He's just cleared Rob Williams. Jordan Malcolm is behind him of about 3.69 seconds at the moment. Hedgecock is trying to get onto the back of McCain from SRL and Altitude here, so a nice little tidy battle developing between these guys. Sampson, Babbage and Chagnon still fighting out here, Callum. 6 minutes to go. Babbage is trying to make the move on the inside. Give him room, otherwise he's going to spin you round. Yeah, Babbage did make it that time, and just missed currently the back of Martin Sampson, Callum.
Yeah, Sampson done pretty well to keep in front there, to be honest, and I have to admit, with a good-looking Porsche like that, it's quite handy as well driving the Porsche in this season, because it's a lot smaller of a car than the rest of them. You can see the size difference as they go side by side into the next chicane. They're a bit of contact. Luckily, nothing too major, but Babbage is going to lose an extra position because of it. But like I was saying, you can see the size of the Porsche compared to all the cars behind. So that I feel like there is a bit of a advantage, if you like, an overtaking advantage with the Porsche, a bit more safety, because it leaves other cars a bit more room to either get the move done or for you to get the move done. So you can go for a bit, you know, a few tighter gaps, shall we say.
Yeah, the Porsche does remind me of a little dinky toy. It's like a little matchbox, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a matchbox car. To be fair though, when you look at it like that, the Mercedes ain't much different. I think it's because you've got the house brick of the BMW, and that's the problem with the BMW. It's just so gruff, as we see Dudley going up the inside of Circuito here as well. And is he going to be able to run round? No, but Circuito should be able to get a run down into turn one if he can hold that outside line, slingshot it off that back corner, and now tuck in. Go on, in you go. That's it. In he goes. Tucks in behind him here, and Circuito should, well, not fully in. Get right in. I'm a bit confused on that one. Why is he not tucked all the way in? Surely that's what he would have been doing. He's trying to now send it around the outside here, but I don't know if that's gonna. No, it's not gonna work. Dudley's gonna.
He was going for a bit of a switchback, and it just didn't work at all. In these cars, that I'd say the Merc's probably the biggest car. It's very wide. The BMW's a bit slimmer, but it's a bit longer. The Porsche is very small. I think the McLaren and the Mercedes are the two widest cars, I think. Oh, that's a battle there between Sampson. He's dropped 2 positions, so he's obviously gone side by side with Chanonnier into turn 1.
Chanonnier.
Some of these names.
Chanonnier. That's the way you say it.
Shonyonye.
Yeah.
Shonyonye. There we go.
Well, let's put it this way. That's what I've been calling him in another series, and he hasn't DM'd me or told me any different. All right. So we'll go with Arnaud Shonyonye from France, with Dan Babic from Croatia. So we've got a right proper mixture of flags here currently. That's how it is at the moment. UK, Belgium, Portugal, we've got France, Croatia, Italy, Northern Ireland, Australia, and
Estonia.
Yeah, Estonia as well. So there's flags all over the place here, which is epic to see once more in this series. And good old multi-world series currently going on here as well. And Sampson again is now tucked up behind Burgess. Is he going to be able to clear him in this little Porsche here? It's going to be this one and one more, I think. Oh no!
I think Sampson's got damage.
You reckon?
Yeah, the cod in Dascari, the cod just barely turned, and he just hopped the curb completely. So maybe he's got a bit of damage in that car. Because he obviously had an incident somewhere down at the exit of turn 1. But we'll see him into the final corner. We'll just see how the car controls. And through there, not too bad. So I'm not sure what happened at Ascari.
Yeah, he has bounced quite a few curbs, mind you. So in an ideal kind of way, it was probably not best. And Callum, with that progressive damage model that they've got, Circuito is still trying to go around Dudley on the outside of turn 1. You're not going to get there, bud. The first sign of insanity when you try something once and you're expecting a different outcome when you try it again, and you didn't get a different outcome. It might be worth trying to come off that last corner and hustle him off that inside line going into that corner, because at the moment you're not going to make it through. So I'm sorry if I'm pointing out the obvious there, but yeah, unfortunately it's not going to work. Once more, we've got Oromets is in the pits. Fertel is taking a little bit of an off track, and is now 9 seconds behind Mr. Fletcher, who is absolutely flying. Needham and Weston are having a nice tiny battle with the Merc and the Porsche here, Callum as well. Chris Needham in 14th, Weston in 15th. I think Needham could get this, you know, Callum.
Yeah, I've been looking at Needham's name. I've seen it pop up quite a few times throughout this race, and I think Needham's had a good session so far tonight, and obviously in a, once again, lovely looking Porsche there. I can't really have any complaints with what I've seen from Needham so far. We haven't seen him involved in any incidents thus far from what I can remember anyway, and yeah, he's had not a bad race at all, getting the job done nice and easily there on Weston, and it's going to be a bit too much of a gap to track down Crowther, I think, now, especially in the last minute. You need something big to happen up front to gain any positions, but I've just seen Burgess is dropping positions big time, so I think Burgess has just had a slip up just ahead of Needham, so not too sure what's happened there, but he's slowly going down the grid.
Well, Needham may have been involved in that. Right, Picanto, go the other side.
He needs to go up the inside. That's all he's going to. If he doesn't go up the inside, he's done for.
But the thing is, it's got the gap. Dudley's left the gap. I don't know why I'm pointing at the screen. None of you at home can see me.
He's braking later. It's sensitive very deep, but he's
cross.
The switch back though for Dudley. That's going to be able. He's going to be able to get it. You'd think Vincato would come round out of parabolic, but try and get to the inside as much as he can. But no, he doesn't. And now he's got the outside into the chicane. It's could end very badly, and they're literally
leaning on each other.
They're literally one car going through there.
Leaning onto each other all the way through, coming into the second variante here. Through he goes. Contact! Push it. Oh! Get it round, Dudley. Get it round. Come on, you've got.
I think Babic might be able to get him.
No, he's got to do
Babic, is it?
No, the problem is he's got to do it now. You got to do it now.
Oh.
Stay where you are. Oh.
Well,
Dudders.
That could have ended a lot worse than it did, to be fair.
Yeah, but if you have a look on board here, I think the problem is what we've seen so many times when you run too wide. That inside car has got to be able to get room, and you can't come over from Dudley's perspective on that one. He might have been better backing up and going out that way. I've got to be honest.
Yeah,
you're trying to turn a bus in a very small area there, and it ain't going to work.
Yeah.
But for Dudley, he's got to try and reverse it. As Fletcher has come across the line. I thought there was one more lap, to be honest. Arthur Ferdinand will come over in second. Jordan Malcolm third. Alan McCain comes across the line in front of Adam Hedgecock here and takes that position. So for them, and then we got Derek Crowber battling it out further down the line, but it was Mark Fletcher. Apologies, Mark, I thought you had one more lap there, but clearly you got that done a little bit more quicker than I was anticipating. With Crowber and Werrell, it looks like Werrell has blocked the front off in, and I think it is going to Werrell who's going to be able to take this. He does run wide, mind you. Dudley's going to try and have a go. Crowber's going to go and have a go, but I don't think he's going to get past this time. It is going to be Werrell there. Comes across the line, and then we've got Cabernet Delaunay and Tom Weston. I think Delaunay is going to try and tighten up the last corner. Is he going to get the run down into the line? Here we go. Weston Delaunay. Who's going to get it? It's going to be Weston just by the skin of his teeth. 7 thousandths of a second there. Stuart Rice is going at it with Roger Morton down the back straight as they're coming into the parabolic. He needs to get that car stopped. Oh, okay. Take his nose off. No, Morton's going to go through. How's this one going to pan out? There's going to be contact. There's a little bit of rubbing on the front from Morton. Is he going to be able to get it? Is Rice going to run him down? And I think it is going to be Rice this time. Rice does come over the line and takes that position away. And then we've got Hurst and Mark Werrell. Why are you all the way down there, Mr. Werrell? What happened to you? Let's scour through to see what happened to Mark Werrell. Did we miss something there, boys? I did. Ah, yes, we did. Oh no, that's where he's running deep into turn 1, isn't it? He's done the same thing again, has he? Oh no, that was the initial incident from Mark Werrell there, unfortunately, as well. So, you know, all right. Nate, what do we think? First time out in these cars, first time on the series. What about the racing?
I'd say it was great. I enjoyed it heavily, especially the second race. There was so much going on all the way through the field as well. Yes, the top two didn't have much of a battle, but Fletcher was on an absolute, charge today. No one would have stopped him. But the mid-pack, the battles were insane. And, even though we had a few incidents here and there, I think it was still great racing. And these drivers, in this race, bravo.
Top class there as well. Let's bring you up the grid and then we'll have a quick chat with Mr. Mileham. Right, Fletcher is your winner there. Mark Fletcher won by 9.2 seconds. Arthur Ferdinand in second. Jordan Malcolm third. Alan McCain fourth. Adam Hedgecock fifth. Mirko Ficato in sixth. Please DM me if you watch this back. Dan Babbage seventh. Arnold Chagnon eighth. Jack Werrell ninth. Derek Crowber 10th. Ryan Dudley 11th. Ryan Burgess 12th. Chris Needham 13th, Tom Weston 14th, Cabernet Delaunay 15th, Martin Sampson 16th, and Stuart Gibbons down in 17th place. Torno Oromets 18th, Stuart Rice 19th, Roger Morton 20th, Roy Vivek 21st, Damien Hurst 22nd, Mark Werrell down in 23rd place, Danny Weston 24th, Jason Addington 25th, Fausto Pinto 26th, Rob Williams in 27th. Stefan Mellis, Chris Barnes and Jamie Dengle rounds it out there with Marnik Heister in 31st place. So nice little battles all the way through here for race 1 as well. We've got a few people waiting. Let's have a chat with Jack Werrell. Jack, the winner of the AMS in the feature race here. Jack, how are you, sir?
Better now. Wasn't a great start to the night, admittedly, but nothing I could have done. It looked like an honest mistake up front, but started race 2 in 30th, pretty much plumb last, come through and win the class. Yeah, did better now for sure.
Well, I'm sure you must be happy with that, mate, because at the end of the day, you've done an absolutely barnstorming job, you know? Didn't you?
Yeah, it was one of those, like, I came out of the pits in race 1 and I learnt my lesson from Clio's last season that no matter where you are, just go out and take the checkered, because those points could come invaluable, missing out on the Clio Championship by a little bit. So I thought I'll just go out and turn a few laps, and you never know, it might come in handy, and it turns out it did. And yeah, I'm not sure what happened to Samson towards the end, but fingers crossed he's still doing all right. But yeah, I don't know whether it's damage, but I can't complain too much. Managed to get the win.
Yeah, definitely in there as well. Martin Sampson had a bit. We weren't entirely sure, to be honest, Jack, if Sampson had damage or not. It was he got a little bit messy in certain parts of the corners. So at the end of the day, hey, his loss is your gain. Going forward, Jack, what's the plan for this season? Come on, what are we going for?
I thought tyre management would be a big thing tonight, but it really isn't for me anyway. I think the tyres stayed the same all race. It was more the fuel came out of it, and it was really, really quick. The McLarens are scarily quick in a straight line, so I think for me it's just consistency, keep racking up them points, and I think stop racing the pros. That was my issue tonight. I was looking down and going, oh right, they're a pro. We don't need to fight this one. I know points overall, but as long as you're finishing in front of all the AMs, you're doing something right.
Exactly. I fully agree with you there, sir, as well. No need to fight if you don't have to, as long as you finish in front of the cars in your class. But look, thank you so much, Jack, for joining us. Congratulations on your AMS win there, bud. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
It's going to have to be Danny Cassar, who's watching the stream, just feeding a little bit of information to me throughout the race, and Father Werrell, who I was racing with tonight. He's in the sister car. Didn't have a cracking start to the race, but he sounded like he enjoyed himself.
Well, as long as he enjoyed himself, mate. He did make a mistake going down into turn 1, but nobody saw him.
We'll ignore that.
All right, Jack. Take care, bud. Look forward to having a chat with you. Take care, mate.
Cheers, guys. Bye.
All right, let's bring in Mr. Hedgecock. We'll do it in reverse order. Adam here in the booth with me. Good evening, young sir. How are you?
All the better for hearing young sir. Hey, buddy.
Hey, mate. How's it going?
Tired. That was rough out there. That was hard work.
Yeah, I think it was. The whole evening was as well. It didn't help, right? It wasn't helped by the beginning in race 2. I'm not going to lie. Poor old Roy Vivek hit the grass on the outside on the run down into turn 1. And you and I both know it's like ice. And he just had nowhere to go. And then the back out snapped on him and it was like bowling. He just went down and striked everybody out in front of him. But you managed to avoid most of that, didn't you, dear sir? And had quite a nice little clean evening.
Apparently so, yeah. I've known... I say I've known Roy. I've raced with Roy for... must be like 7 or 8 years now, I guess. And he will be kicking himself about that, I can tell you. I can tell you, like he's genuinely a decent racer. So yeah, he's going to be gutted that he had that incident. But yeah, fortunate for me, that was all behind me, which was a pleasant surprise. I'm not going to lie. I did not have any, what's the right word? I was hoping for a good start in the race, high up the order, but I had no, I couldn't have dreamed that I would have been this high up, like 4th and 5th in consecutive races. That's unheard of.
Yeah, but it puts you in a good stead, doesn't it? One mistake from the leaders in the next race, it's all yours.
Yeah, well, funny enough, we were just talking about this, Mark and Arthur and I. We didn't realise that Arthur is teammates with Alan.
Yeah, Alan McCain.
Which means the team championship is uber tight.
Yes.
So yeah, no, happy days. We're looking forward to it. It's good start to the season, I'd say.
Yeah, it was. Currently, you're sat in 4th place overall, young sir. 3 points behind Alan McCain. So not a bad start there to you, sir. Thank you so much for joining me. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
You know what? I'm going to be very lazy. I'm going to let Mark do all the sponsors because he's a team boss and everything. But well done to you guys. I can't wait to watch the broadcast tomorrow.
Awesome stuff. Well, Adam, thank you so much for joining me, bud. And we'll look forward to chatting to you soon.
Cheers, buddy.
Take care, mate. Right, there we go. Now let's bring in Mr. Arthur Ferdle, who took 2 second places of the evening there as well. Dan Sedgley did say that Ferdle would say that it's a McLaren's track. He did already say that during the first interview. What is he going to say during this one? Hello, Mr. Arthur Ferdle. How are you, sir?
I'm very hot and sweaty.
Okay, thank you very much for that. What would you like me to do about that?
Oh, make the races a bit shorter, I suppose.
No, I think that works. And the pit stops, it makes you think.
It was good. It was good. I liked it.
You know, you don't want sprint races forever, you know. We gave you that in the Clios.
No, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the length. It was. I don't know what happened to my pace after I come out the pits though. I was like half a second a lap slower, and I couldn't get anywhere near the previous lap times I was doing. And Jordan was catching me very quickly from behind as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think this season's going to be definitely interesting there as well. It's surprising how the Aston reacts after the pit stop, which is a little bit bizarre to be honest. I'm presuming you didn't change tyres.
No, I didn't change tyres. Was I not the only one then that noticeably got slower after the pit stops in the Aston?
Well, to be fair, there was a few that dropped back. Burgess had a bit of a nightmare anyway. Damien Hurst, Mark made a mistake, so I guess that's... And Pinto made a mistake, so I guess that's not really much to give you there on that one. But, yeah. I mean, going forward, though, this season's going to be an absolutely epic one. We'll go on to Circuit of the Americas next.
Yeah, I think the Aston might fare a bit better there, because I was just talking about it to Mark. Through the first and second chicane, he would pull a tenth or two on me there, but then through the 2 Lesmos and down the back straight and round Parabolica, I would gain on him. So I think the Aston on the long fast corners might have the edge on the McLaren. And so the Circuit of the Americas, you've got a few fast corners there. It might suit it a bit better, but we'll see. Mark is a very quick driver, so he might be able to make up for it.
Definitely as well. Well, it's a season that's going to be into an interesting one, I think, Mr. Dardle. Anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
All my fans again. I gave them a shout out on Friday night, and I'd like to shout out to them all again. Thank you very much for coming out and supporting me, guys. Yeah, you mean a lot to me.
Where do they get the sighting photos from, mate?
From your website.
All right.
A lot of them just. I get lots of fan mail through the post. It's like a daily chore going through it all. It's an absolute nightmare. I've had to employ the wife as a secretary now.
I bet it must be tough. But Arthur, thank you so much for joining me, bud. A pleasure as always. And we'll catch up with you as the season goes on.
Yeah, see you next Wednesday.
Right,
I'll see you on Friday.
Yeah,
I'll see you here on Wednesday.
All right, mate. You take care. Bye.
You too. Bye.
All right, let's have a quick chat. Before we have a chat with the winner of the sprint and feature, let's bring Stuart Rice into the booth here. Stuart from the Triple P Racing team gave the Merc a run out this evening here as well. It might have to change his name, though, because Triple P Racing Vantage and a McLaren don't really go, Mr. Rice.
No, they don't. The main reason I'm in that is because I just couldn't handle the Aston's rear end.
Yep.
That's probably the best way I can explain it. It's just a bit tail happy, and going to the sort of mid-rear engine McLaren is a little bit nicer.
Yeah.
So I can push harder, basically. I can push harder and put the car more on the limit.
What? All right. What's the aspiration for you this season? Because, you know, and realistically, are you up on the level of Werrell, Crowther, Sampson and Gibbons, you think, as the season's going to go on?
I don't know, I think, is the correct answer to it, because as it goes on, I need to see where my skill level's at.
Mm-hmm.
That's the main problem here, I think. But I'd say all I hope for ever is not coming last. If I can come within the top 10, I'd be happy, in terms of, obviously, in class, not on the races. But top 5 would be, like, amazing. That would be just, yeah, I'd be over the moon with top 5. But I always try and aim for as high as I can. High as I can with the equipment that I have, but so far I'd say it's not going too badly.
Well, I think at the end of the day, I'm not entirely sure on this whole equipment thing, right? Because I know somebody who's incredibly quick. He uses a table chair and a steering wheel strapped to the desk. So, you know, I've got to be looking on the upside of the positives here. I'm not going to lie. I think equipment can be somewhat of a false magnitude on how, it makes me faster because I've got 6 gram pedals. Well, does it really? You know what I mean? Yeah. You know what I mean?
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Pedals, though, make a big difference.
Well... Not for me,
well,
mate.
to me anyway, because I'm running on like pedals with no force feedback behind them, so there's nothing. It's just you put your foot down. It's like a clutch.
Yeah, well, that's what mine does. Well, no, really? I've got a little bit of stuff behind it, but anyway, you know, going forward, at the end of the day, Stuart, you did really well. Are you going to stay with McLaren for the rest of the year?
Good question. I'm going to have to see. I would like to put it that way. I think that may be where I go, but it'll be interesting about the team name to figure that out.
Yeah, well, I'm not entirely sure when we're locking cars in, so you haven't got long left, I think, dear sir. So you may need to make a decision as soon as possible. Stuart, thank you so much for joining me. Anyone you want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Roger Morton for the absolutely insane battling for the last few laps, because it was incredible.
Yeah, I did see that. It was absolutely amazing. So well done to you, buddy. And we look forward to having a chat with you as the season goes on.
Yep, thanks.
Take care, mate. Right, I'd like to point something out there. Arnold Chagnonier, you're getting my name pretty good, JPB. Thank you very much for that. Ignore Nathan's terminology. I had to correct him, Arnold. I'm sorry. It's his first time here. You know what I mean? He didn't know what to call you. So we blagged it as we went along. But let's bring your winner from race 1, your winner from race 2, the man that currently leads the championship by a whopping big score. And I did have him up a minute ago, and I must have clicked off him there as well. He currently leads the championship. Say whopping, it's only 9 points. But look, Mark, it's a lead to go into race 2 with.
Yeah, fantastic evening for me and Altitude as well. We've also realised that the team championship, if it carries on the way that it is going to be really tight.
Yep, absolutely.
So, yeah. But no, it's good. It was good. I don't think there was a lot of carnage. I think the driving standards were very good. And, yeah, fantastic for us.
Okay, well, going forward then, still hoping to win the championship, hoping to do the double with the teams as well.
Teams is going to be close. But yeah, obviously I want to lead the championship. Me and Arthur having a good laugh after the race. Obviously talking team tactics of, Hedge putting his nose in on the first race, trying to put him off a little bit into the first chicane. And yeah, that worked because that gave me a massive gap. And yeah, I tried to go in the middle for race number 2. And yeah, just kept that gap. And yeah, Brian on the old crew chief was asking for a little bit more gap, and I was pushing. I couldn't give any more. So, but yeah, it was good. 2 wins and a pole. That'll do me.
Well, maybe Brian should come and join the blinking racing then if he's sitting there telling you what to do.
No, I need a crew chief. I'm not good at maths. I need someone to put me fuel in.
Oh, okay. Fair enough then, Mark. Well, look, buddy, it's been a pleasure as it always is. I will see you on Monday. Anyone you want to shout out? Oh, by the way, Adam Edgecock says you've got to shout the sponsors out as you're the team boss.
Oh, that'll do it. Yeah, cheers, Ad. Obviously, all the guys at Altitude. It's a good laugh. The stream's a good laugh as well. Finding Speed are one of the sponsors. Freem, Sim Stickers, GD Designs, and obviously Mr. Hedge, who does all of our photography and social media. And obviously, thank you, Mr. P, for broadcasting it.
No worries. It's been a pleasure. You'll hear 3 wonderful voices in the booth this evening, Mr. Fletcher. So, buddy, I will catch you on Monday. Thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to having a chat with you then. Oh, you're doing PEC this weekend?
Yeah, the boys are. Yeah. They're already practicing, ready for it. Yeah, they should be. Again, hopefully trying to wrap the championship or at least make it so they're a little bit easy going into the last round.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, mate. Well, look forward to seeing you there.
Wonderful.
Take care,
cheers,
mate.
James. See you soon.
Bye. Well, there we go. That rounds out tonight's racing. And I think, Callum, if that's what we're leaning for the rest of the season, it's going to be an epic one.
Oh, it certainly is. And we've been treated to some really good racing tonight. We've seen it all over the grid, not just at the top. We've seen it at the bottom. We've seen it in the middle. We've seen it everywhere, all around this track tonight. It's been really good. Watching this go on as the night cracks on, and obviously race 1 was, I'd say, quite good. The quality of racing is definitely a lot better tonight. Obviously, the mountain is a tricky track from last time, but with this track being a little more flat, And the one thing we always mention is the characteristics of all these different cars, all these different manufacturers out there. Certainly adds some spice into the league, and yeah, we're definitely in for a fantastic season up ahead.
Yeah, we definitely are there as well. Nathan, first time joining us in the booth. How was it for you?
Considering it's my first time commentating over GT4 cars, it's my first time commentating over these drivers, it's my first time commentating here. I'd say it went pretty well. I enjoyed it heavily, and I think this type of racing is absolutely amazing. The GT4s do a better job, and I think because generally they're actually smaller than the GT3 cars, some of them. So I think generally that's why the GT4s race better, because you can actually send the cars into corners a bit easier. But yeah, I think this is a great race and great battling throughout the whole grid.
Awesome stuff. DCS DK10, if you want to get yourself involved, Discord down in a link there as well. I believe there might actually only be one space left. So if you do want to get involved, you better do it sharpish, because I'm not entirely sure if it is one or none. I will have a look. Give me 2 minutes, Mr. DCS. Let's see. On the GT4s. Oh, no, you might be lucky. Have a look on the website, JPBroadcasting.com, and then, hold on, let me send you the link, and you can have a look here as well. League Racing, right. Okay, dear sir, that's the link you need. Have a look on there, see if you are able. If you're not, give me a shout, and I will deal with it from there. But guys, that is it. That's going to round out tonight's racing. Thank you so much for joining us, to everyone in chat as well. BJ, DCS, Jamie Dangle popped in, Dan Sedgley, and John Higgins Jr. and Senior, I believe, at one point. Daniel Lewis, thank you so much. Chris Evans, hope you get your problems sorted out and we see you back on track soon. Scott Fletcher, enjoying putting his tyres on the sand. Yep, there we go. Welcome in. Thank you so much for that. Marnik Heister, oh no, that says Scott Fletcher enjoying putting his tyres on the sand. Yes, okay, I'll get there in the end. Thank you so much for joining us, guys, as well. But for now, from myself, Callum Mileham, and Nathan Richards, you all take care. Have a great week, and you never know, we might see you on the track sometime. Good night.